You're listening to the Inspired Mom MDs Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Cindy Van Prague. I help physician moms take back control of their time and energy so they can prioritize what matters most and thrive at work and home. In each episode, I bring honest conversations, inspiring stories, and practical strategies, including interviews with incredible women who are redefining success on their own terms. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I would like to introduce my special guest today. Her name is Dr. Wendy Schofer. She's a board-certified pediatrician, lifestyle physician, and emotional health educator whose work focuses on helping families build healthier relationships with food, body, and each other. She is the founder of Family in Focus. It's a weight-inclusive, trauma-informed space where emotional health sits at the center of family well-being. And she's a podcaster too, and she hosts the Family in Focus podcast. Wendy brings a thoughtful and compassionate lens to conversations around children's eating, body image, and family health. And she helps parents move away from shame and toward connection and curiosity. I am really looking forward to exploring emotional eating and body trust and what it can look like to support our kids and our family in feeling more connected. Thank you for being here and welcome, Wendy.
Thank you. You are now in charge of writing all of my bios. That was beautiful. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that too. Thank you. You're like, hey, that's me. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Oh, but that sounds really beautiful. I'm like, those were not my words. I really love what you did there.
Oh, but they are. So it's all, yes, it's all what you've put out there in the universe. You have your LinkedIn and your website, and those go into so much more depth than I could cover in my short bio.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
that that's part of the beauty of like hearing it reflected back to you. You're like, oh, I've been putting out all these different things. And so I want to thank you. This is the real human side of it. You're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Hold on a minute. You really encapsulate all that. And then thank you. Of course,
Oh,
it's
you're
what I've been
welcome.
put out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's where I got it. Yes. So I would love to talk about you and your story a little bit first. So you're a pediatrician, you've been working with families for years. How has your career evolved and how has it changed? I imagine when you started with training and about the years that I did, you were trained in a certain way. And now I think you might be very different. Just tell us about your story.
Wow. Yeah. How things have evolved. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's honestly, things have evolved. I have evolved. Like it's just
Mhm.
really something that I could have never dreamt that I would be here way back when. So I've been in practice now for 21 years.
Mhm.
And I think that, I mean, the real heart of the story is, I was trained within military medicine. And so I had the layers of this is the way that doctoring looks. This is what it looks like to practice medicine. And then this is what it looks like to be a military officer, to be a mom, to be a wife, like all these different levels of this is what it looks like.
Mhm.
And so, no big surprise, I hit a wall
Mhm.
because I was really feeling that my practice wasn't up to the standards that I thought that it was supposed to look like. And
Mhm.
my practice meant as a physician, but also as a mom, as a wife, as a military officer, like all these different ways that I was like, oh, this is so not what I'm hearing it's supposed to look like. And a lot of that also was reflected in the practice that I had. I was building such wonderful relationships with families
Mhm.
and, hearing about the concerns that they had about growth, about eating habits, about mental health. And I was like, oh, I got the answer. Here's the prescription.
Yeah.
And then families would come back and they're like, yeah, so that prescription that you wrote, we are failing at all
Mhm.
of this. It's not working for us. We're having food fights. I don't like to work out. My kids don't like to work out. We're, fighting over this. We're
Mm,
finding candy wrappers underneath the bed. And I was like,
mhm,
me too. I'm having the exact same struggles. And so it was one
mm,
more layer initially of thinking, well, shoot, man, I'm failing this too.
mm,
Like none of this is panning out. And that was really through taking some time, like again, hitting a wall. It wasn't like an
yeah,
epiphany of, oh, there's a different way. But I was
yeah,
like, hold on a minute. This isn't working. This is totally not working for parents, for kids, for me.
mm,
And so I started really looking at, well, what is working? Because I could find so many different ways that it wasn't working all along the way with the prescriptions, with the approach, with my mobbing, my doctoring, like all of it.
yeah,
And so I went back to the basics. I was like, well, what is working here? And that is
mm,
completely a different question that flipped all of it. I
mm,
started actually looking at, for myself, what is the area that really works within the office practice? By the way, it's totally relationships, totally relationships. What is it that was working for families? And really starting to focus there.
mm.
And it completely changed my practice, completely. But I got to tell you, it was very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable because all I first saw was, my goodness, none of this is working.
Wow. And you flipped the script and said, what is working? And that's what changed. That sounds like a pivot for you, a slow
Oh,
pivot.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
huge. And I appreciate you saying the word slow
Mm.
because there was not like, you know, this epiphany on a Tuesday that
Yeah.
all of a sudden it did not happen that way. It
Right.
was, yeah, I mean, it was really a slow roll of a lot of questioning, a lot of
Hmm.
feeling kind of lost. But I got to tell you, that's so powerful. And my kids ask me all the time, they're always looking for like, what's the path? Where am I going? A lot of it's around career. It's a lot about making sure they've got the next right step. And they're like, well, it was easy for you, mom. You're a
Mm.
doctor. You knew exactly, what you were doing, where you were going. I'm like, the only straight line is looking back. Like, none of it was a straight line. I got here through all the different curves and turns and doubling back again. And let me tell you about it, kid. Like, none of it is a straight line. You get to take all the turns and curves in the road. That is where you get to where you're supposed to be.
Right. And you really strike me as someone who embraces the growth mindset because you're looking forward to, well, maybe I'm a mirror again. You raise your eyebrows at me. But what is working and it's this curvy path and you're following what's going to grow. Tell me if I'm close.
I want to say yes to all of that. And yet
Hmm.
the eyebrows going up was
Hmm.
because I know that embracing the growth mindset isn't pretty.
Right.
There's a lot of fixed mindset along the way. And I see that in myself all the time. I
Mm.
mean, it's very easy to say this is what you should do. And yet the real part of it is that you keep on bumping up against the pain, the uncertainty, the comparisons, the perfection. Oh God, the perfectionism
Mhm.
all the time. And so, yes, I recognize, I think a lot of it, the metaphor I'm coming up with. So how often we look at, describing like balance,
Mhm.
work-life balance, how do you have all this balance so you're not in burnout and so that you're actually progressing and all these different things. I think the same thing with mindset. It's not actually about balance. It's not about finding this perfect kind of mindset. I think it's
Yeah.
because we brush up against the fence or the guardrails. Like when I find myself kind of like getting really icky, like, oh, hold on a minute, this is not the mindset that is helping me right now. When I'm touching up against the fence, if you will, of perfectionism or that discomfort. It's not that I'm in some kind of like beautiful growth mindset all the time. Oh, bring
Yeah.
on the pain. Bring it on.
Right.
I'm going to grow here. Oh my gosh.
Right. Right.
And I think it's the same thing about learning about burnout. And a lot of it for me, I really look at it as stress and emotions. And it's recognizing when I'm touching on that, when I'm like, oh, hold on, this is overwhelm. This
Mm-hmm.
is fear. This is, let's call it out. This is perfectionism. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting over that, I'm like, okay, hold on a minute. Let's come back in. It's not a balance where you're just like, do, do, do. It's
Yeah.
really the teeter totter. It's the whole thing. Oh, well, I'm going to use all sorts of visual metaphors here.
I love visual metaphors. So, so let's talk about the mom who leans towards perfectionism so easily and brushes up
Guilty.
against that fence. And it's me too. Like it's like so many people listening right now. And let's bring that mom and put her into a family and let's talk about how she can interact with her kids because parents are models for their kids, right?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for moms like this?
Oh, first of all, I just want to say, um, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. I am right there with you. I
Mm-hmm.
am right there with you. And I think that so much of it is about just slowing down,
Mm-hmm.
like really slowing down. There's so much that we're like, okay, let's keep on going. Let's, kind of muscle through this, and it's got to look a certain way. And
Yeah.
yet, when we slow down, we can kind of see, okay, hold on, is this working for me? Is this working for my family?
Yeah.
What is it that's really uncomfortable for us right now? I realize a lot of it, again, I think that so much of the perfectionism I've just kind of like integrated. Like that was a big part of my success. I was really
Yeah.
rewarded for what I thought of as perfectionism. It has to look a certain way. And then I hit a wall where I was like, hold on a minute, this is not working for me. What is it? And it was the perfectionism, kind of like the ugly side of it. The other part that really made me question it was, again, when I saw my kids emulating it, like striving for perfectionism. And I was like, whoa, 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 hold on a minute. Seeing how it wasn't helping them,
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a moment to be able to stand back and say, oh, what's going on here? Oh my gosh, hold on. They are just like me. They're just like me. And so it, again, it's not like a given Tuesday where all of a sudden it changes, but it's kind of like taking this time to be able to say, hold on a minute, is this really working for me? Is this working for my children? I think slowing down is one of the most magical, unexpected things because we're in such a pace where we think that we need to keep on going. And, you know, everything in our lives, in our families, in our careers is about you got to fit it all in. That's also perfectionism, thinking that it's going to look a certain way, that the pace of life has to go a certain way. Slowing down is, first of all, questioning it. Like, is this really supporting what I really want? Is this what I really want to feel? And so, yeah, that's where the emotions come in, where I've noticed that when there's a pressure that's building, to really start getting curious about what's really going on here. If I'm rushing through it all, I don't have an opportunity to really experience that, to really question it, and to redirect it if I so choose.
So what I'm hearing is slowing down means noticing the impact of your behavior on your family and your kids and questioning that impact And when you slow down, then you start to notice emotions. Can we talk a little bit about emotions and that role?
I love that because this is what I love.
Yeah.
It's all about emotions.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the way that you just framed that with slowing down and opening up for emotions, because
Mhm.
I really think that this is the most important part, that slowing down, I think of it as a pattern disruptor. I look at everything, everything as patterns. Sometimes we'll describe it as habits. Sometimes
Mhm.
we'll describe it as diagnoses. It's all patterns.
Mhm.
Slowing down is the most important thing that we do because it disrupts the automatic pattern, whether it's emotions, whether it's the pace of our day to day, whether it's our relationships. When we slow down, we disrupt the automatic so that we can start actually seeing what is happening right now in front of us. So, curiosity, awareness,
Mhm.
absolutely, definitely applies to emotions all along the way.
How do you interpret emotions in your kids? How do you figure out what their behaviors mean? I mean, you can have a 5-year-old with a certain behavior and a 10-year-old and a 15. They're all different ages. I appreciate that. And the behaviors are different for each age group. But how do you figure out what their emotions are by their behaviors?
Take a darn good guess.
Yeah.
Honest to
Okay.
goodness,
Yeah.
because there isn't like this flag that's going up that's saying, this is overwhelm, this is
Yeah.
anxiety, this is frustration or boredom or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, actually, it's two-sided. One, it's starting to really get the literacy about your own emotions. So,
Okay.
really taking that time to start getting a good guess about, hold on, well, what are the emotions that I have? Because so much of it is about, well, I want to figure out what's going on for my kids,
Yeah.
but we don't actually understand what's going on for ourselves.
Mm.
And so, so much of this is about starting with us.
Mm.
Like, what are the emotions that I'm having right now? What is it that I'm trying to fix when I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my kid? What am I actually feeling?
Right.
Because in a lot of that, we're trying to fix what's going on with our kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, guilty. Absolutely. We want everything
Yeah.
to be better for them. But
Right.
a lot of it is that we also are trying to fix how we're feeling.
Mm.
And so slowing down, like, what is it that I'm feeling? Oh, frustration. I can't handle any more frustration. Oh, yes, guilty. I want to get their behavior to change because of the way that I'm feeling.
Yes.
And so, starting with us, really getting that language around our own emotions. And again, I was not kidding when I said guessing
Mm.
what our kids are feeling. And you can guess inside and, kind of like, oh, I wonder if he's feeling overwhelmed.
Mm.
I wonder if it's anxiety. And we can kind of play with that a little bit. But the other thing is even just saying it out loud. Hey, it looks like you're feeling kind of anxious right now. And the most amazing thing will happen. They'll either let you know, no, I am just pissed off, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like, they'll come out. Your children's language may be different than mine,
Mm.
or you'll see them kind of settle because you nailed it.
Mhm.
You totally get. So they will let you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, spot on, or this is, what it is. And I think that that has been such an amazing step. So, first, getting to know the language of your own emotions, and then being able to guess and connect with your children's emotions. It's okay. Don't be afraid to guess. They will let you know. They will let you know.
Well, I think that's holding space for them because you're in the moment, listening and watching them. Even if your guess is wrong, they know that you're holding space for their emotions and you're curious. I think that shows curiosity on a parent's part. And so I would imagine we should not be afraid of what we're guessing.
Yes. And notice, okay?
Mhm.
Notice that There may be times that you have had someone guess what you're feeling, but in a different way.
Mm.
So there's a difference between guessing what they can feel and I'm going to say labeling or accusing.
Yeah.
Okay. So guessing, you know what? It seems like you're really overwhelmed right now is really different from saying you should stop being so overwhelmed all the time. Or, you know what? Your anger isn't helping anything right now. And so just noticing it seems like you're really angry is very different. It's not accusatory. It is something where it's observing. Or I see that you're angry. Just, what you're noticing. So I'm offering that because I think that there's a lot of times, oh my gosh, if I have one more person that ever tells me to calm down, oh my God, how many discussions I've had with my husband. Don't ever tell me to calm down. That does not help me. He's like, but you're all like jazzed up. And I said, jazzed up, whatever. You're so excitable. You're so whatever. I'm like, not helping whatsoever. That's poking the bear. And yet, let me introduce you, my dear husband, to some language that does help. Do not ever tell a woman to calm down, okay? That will have the opposite effect.
Right.
Same thing applies to our kids. Oh, we are learning the language.
Thank you for explaining that so clearly. I would love to hear how you talk to parents about food issues with their kids. I'm thinking of a friend of my mind, just one example, where her kid was a little boy was too thin based on the growth chart. And people would comment, are you feeding that boy? Are you feeding it? What's he eating? And she just, oh my gosh, she spent so much time with doctors and tests and all these things because everybody was worried that he wasn't eating enough. And I know we often hear about the opposite. Your kids are eating too much or eating too much junk food. It's like in both ends of that spectrum, these parents, I feel for them. I feel for my friend. They are struggling with what society is telling them their kids should look like. They're struggling with maybe this feeling of failure or guilt that their kid doesn't look the way they should, according to the doctor's growth chart. How do you work with families around this type of issue, whether they're on either end of the spectrum, or maybe they're right in the middle and they're technically normal and they're still struggling with these body image issues?
Yeah.
And the parents may still be feeling a sense of failure. And the kids are wrapped up in this whole ball of emotions and tangled messages from both family, friends, society, social media. I just see it in my head, this tumbled jumble of mixed messages. How do you handle that?
This is the realest question because it is all of this all jumbled up. And I'm going to answer it very, very directly. I go right to the emotions that the parent is experiencing. I go right there and I call it out. I'm like, you know what? This sounds like there's a lot of reasons for you to worry. Tell me about it. This sounds overwhelming.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Again, I'm taking a guess. I'm totally picking out the best guess that I have based on what I've just heard. And then I open it up for them because, oh man, when you identify an emotion, it gives a space, it gives permission to be like, yes, I am worried. Yes, my God, I am so anxious about this. Yes, I'm afraid because everybody keeps on telling me all these different things to worry about. And I'm not sure if it's something that I'm making it up or what's going on. Am I inflicting harm on my child? So, what I actually do is I name an emotion, take a guess, and then we just start opening up more and more of the conversation. Because at the heart of it, it is never about the food. It is never about the child. It is never about their weight. Yes, there's so much more into it, but if we just focus on food, weight, diagnosis or not, we're not understanding, again, all of the patterns. all of the patterns. And the most important ones are about patterns of emotions.
Hmm.
They are always operating in the background. And this is the thing that we have missed. We've really honed in. We're like, okay, well, does this child meet a threshold for this diagnosis, whether it's, and I'm just going to use generalities here, but
Yeah.
too slim, too big, too fast, too slow. We're always looking for where do we fall in and fit this categorization, and we're missing the emotions that are operating in the background.
Hmm.
Because quite honestly, we haven't had the practice with it. We haven't
Yeah.
had the language to really be able to explore that. But doggone it, we know the language of diagnosis, fear, watch out for it. You know what? This is what you should do next, telling
Yeah.
everybody. And parents are just ping ponging all over the place with all the different guidance. That's not helping parents really be able to help their kids from a place of, yeah, of course, I want to just exhale here,
Hmm.
of just that calm, that grounded kind of feeling like you got your feet underneath you. Like, I know what to do next. Everybody's telling us what to do next, and it's taking us all over the place. Yeah, I also insert sound effects along the way, all
Hmm.
over. But it's something where it's about connecting with parents and their experience first. We'll figure this out. But my goodness, this sounds overwhelming for you right now.
Wow. That might be the first time I've heard a pediatrician turn and look at the parent and say, how are you feeling about this? Yeah.
It's the most important part. So I learned this again, rewind quite a number of years back where those parents were coming in. One example was this 6-year-old girl who was coming in for her well visit. They had seen my partners before, but it was my first time meeting up with her and mom. And I saw that she had always been growing above the 85th percentile for her weight and her body mass index. And I just took note of the growth curve and I went on in and I just started asking about all the things. Who was she? What did she enjoy? How was everything going? Everything was fabulous. What she ate, how she moved, interactions, social relationships, academics, sleep, everything. And I was like, all right, this is awesome. Like 2 thumbs up. I'll see you in another year. This was amazing. And mom leans over. She's like, when are you going to talk to me about her BMI? I was like, what about her BMI?
Yeah.
What's your question? And she's like, you are the first doctor who didn't tell me that I was doing it all wrong, that I need to change everything. She's like, every single time that I come to the doctor, I hear that I need to change what I'm feeding her. I need to get her to move more. I am failing my child because she
Mm.
continues to grow. And so, again, right there, I was like, I hear a parent who thinks that she's failing. Right there is where I had to pause. And again, the focus is completely on the parent. Because if we have parents that think that they're failing their children, we are failing those parents, those families. It's all about equipping parents with what it is that they need so that they can help their children.
Mm.
That, oh my gosh, that visit just impacted me so much because I heard loud and clear what it is that we need to name, like how we need to be able to connect with parents to be able to really help them in those moments where you're like questioning. And none of this had been said beforehand. It was at the very end of the visit. And I'm so grateful because if she hadn't said that, I would have never known. I would have never known about what was going on the inside. Again, the
Yeah.
emotions. And so I took away from that to, again, slow down and to really start getting curious about what else is coming into the office, what is unsaid. By the way, it's usually emotions because we usually don't talk about them.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, like it's usually emotions. We just don't have the experience and the practice of talking
Mhm.
about emotions. And so I call them out early on. I get curious about them. Absolutely. What is it that you're worried about? What is it that you'd like to discuss? What is it that's keeping you awake at night? Bring it on. Because, of course, as a doctor, we always get those as you're like going out the door, like hand on the doorknob, and they're like,
Oh,
oh, by the way. And let's just move that all up earlier. What else is there that you want to tell me? What else is it that you want to ask today? Oh, I put that out there very early on because it's giving permission to be like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm listening.
this is a wonderful takeaway for the listener today who is in family practice, pediatrician, internist role. I'm wondering about the mom out there. What if she doesn't have a doctor like you to take care of her children? How can listeners advocate for themselves? And when they go to their doctors with their kids, how can they make changes on their own?
I want to have like a quick, easy answer. And I'm going to say that this is something that we're all learning to really be able to speak up about what works for us, what it is that we need. And I think that more than anything, it's about having the vulnerability, the bravery to say, this is what I need.
Mm.
I need your help. I need you to listen, which, I mean, talk about being vulnerable, sharing with someone else, like, this is what I need from you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a completely different conversation than what we're used to having.
Mhm.
And so much of the work that I do with parents is actually about helping them recognize what it is that they need. Because, I mean, if you want to talk about with emotions, emotions are a fabulous way for us to identify, are our needs being met, or do we have needs that are unmet? Just spoiler, when you feel bad, whatever that is, like feel uncomfortable, you've got unmet needs. Okay, well, what is it that is unmet? Okay,
Mm.
I'm tired. Okay, what can help you? I'm exhausted. Okay, another flavor of that. Okay, I need a break. I need a rest. I need some quiet. I need people to just zip it. I
Mhm.
need help. I need some assistance here. I need someone who listens to me. It starts by checking in, to really understand, okay, this uncomfortable feeling I have right now, what is it that I need?
And that ties back to the beginning of what you said, slow down so that you recognize your emotions. And then you have the language to ask for what you need.
Yeah. And to recognize it for yourself, because so much of this is about recognizing and offering to ourselves what we need, which is not some kind of like woo thing, like, oh, the answer is all within. And
Yeah.
yet, how often, okay, let's just call it out. And yet, there's truth to that, where it's like, oh, hold on a minute. I want other people to do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, how often we need a break, we need silence, we need space. This is most often the answer when I ask parents, what do you need? It's always a vacation, a break, zip it, all these kind of things. And the first answer is always right. And yet we can't go around telling everybody, I need you to give me a break. We have to start finding what that looks like for us. Because I'm going to tell you, going up and telling a 3-year-old, I need a break, not going to work.
No.
Not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it can still be the honest to goodness truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need. Now let's start seeing, what does that really mean? What do you really need right now? And how can you start taking steps towards making that happen, including a break when you have a 3-year-old?
Exactly. Oh, Wendy, where can people find you? I know we're running a bit long, but I'm eating up all your words you're saying. Where can people find you if they want to listen to your podcast or just want to learn more about you or come to see you?
Welcome, come and see me. So I am going to offer. So when you're saying like, if you don't have a doctor like me, this is why I've really created such a practice. So my practice is virtual. It is available and globally, and really being able to connect with parents where they are. And so, yes, this is available to you. This is a conversation that we can have. So, coming to Wendy Schofer MD, I trust you will put that into the show notes so you don't have to worry about the spelling. But thankfully, there's only one of me. Okay. So, wendyschofermd.com. You can also join me with my Family in Focus podcast, and we will just build the conversation from there. Absolutely.
Thank you for starting the conversation.
See, this is why I like just hanging out with you, because it goes both ways. So we're doing this.
Yeah. It is such a joy to have you here today on the podcast. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I love this. My heart is full.
Oh, so is mine. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Inspired Mom MDs podcast. If this episode resonates with you, please share it with a friend who might benefit too. And I'd be so grateful if you left a review so other women can find me too. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn and explore free resources at inspiredmommds.com. And just a quick reminder, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for medical advice or care. I'm a board-certified physician, but this content isn't connected to my clinical practice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed here. Please always talk to your own health professional about any mental or physical health concerns. And as always, take what helps and leave the rest. See InspiredMomMDs.com for full disclaimer.